All right, gentlemen, what is good? Tonight I created a blog post, and the title was called The Human Incarnate of the Gynocentric Social Order. I'm just going to play that video run in the background. It's my last video I played. Kind of taking that in as my own little stylistic purposes and this and that. But tonight I want to talk about this post that I created. I spent a couple hours doing it. It wasn't nothing too big, and usually when I do a blog post, and I've only done two now, and you can actually find my post on my Twitter account, and you can go to that and you can see that right on the front page. It's at wordpress.com, projectalethearp.wordpress.com. I'm not paying for any UTLR prices. I'm doing the free stuff for now until I can figure out how to make the side hustle and maybe work for me a little bit more. But I'm hoping that it provides you guys with a little bit of free value, really. And that's really what I'm trying to do here is ultimately give you guys stuff that you find valuable. And what I want to talk tonight about is the kind of main points, 3-point sermon, again, main points that I pointed out in this article or essay or post. I'm not sure what you call them. I'm not even sure what makes an article. I think what makes an article is you have to have sources and stuff. I did source some stuff here, but it was loose stuff. I think I did The Irrational Male. You can see behind me. I did Stop Walking on Eggshells by Randy Kreger. And then I did some passages out of the Bible from Proverbs, and you can see that in there. And the first of the three main points is that our culture is BPD. All right, our culture basically created BPD, and I talk about BPD pretty extensively in my videos, and I'm going to be talking about it in my blogs because I have an extensive knowledge about it. And in fact, to this day, I still deal with my son's mother, who I believe has that, and who is in no way, shape, or form ever going to get any help for it whatsoever. And she still thrives off of it because she lives in a gynocentric social order that supports her through it. I mean, she legitimately has no man. She goes through men. She has the system in her place, the court systems that support her. She gets help from her daughter's father, from me, her son's father. And, for the record, I was the first guy who was with her when she was, hot Latina bombshell when she was young. But not that that means anything except for my pride, right? So here are some 3 points I want to walk away with this article that I wrote, okay? Or essay, I should say, or maybe just a blog post. All it is. And I didn't even edit it, so if you see any flaws in it, don't mind it. Try to pay attention to the actual content to it. First point is our culture is BPD. Culture created BPD. And what do I mean by that? In Western civilization, ever since the 1960s, with the production of birth control pills, and also prior to that, going back to maybe even the 40s, when women started to get the vote, this and that, we started creating a culture that basically prioritizes women's productive needs, right? And we've been living in that for a long time now. And this is something that if you're alive today, if you're even a boomer, even if you're in your 60s and 70s, you've really had no other experience other than that, where it's the prioritization of women's reproductive needs through all types of institutions, as far as political, business, as far as virtually everything has become the priority, right? And that's what we do today. So what I mean by our culture is BPD is that it doesn't prioritize facts over emotion. It prioritizes emotion over facts. And so it doesn't care about rationality. It doesn't care about rationality. And that's really the main point number one is our culture is BPD. Culture created BPD, and it does not care about facts or reality. It only cares about emotions and emotion first. And because we are so privileged today, because we live in such a safe society, it's never going to know anything other until our society completely falls apart. And that, I hope that doesn't happen anytime soon, but it's never going away. Okay? All right. So our culture is BPD. Second point is the gynocentric social order is molding our women into its own image, allowing them to flourish without accountability. And this is something you'll see in my article that I wrote, or in my essay. I don't even know what to call it. It's not very long. I wish I could show it up. I don't have any ability to share anything on my screen. I have it up right now. And I have it up, and I talk about, basically when I was in seminary and the books that helped me, and what when I was in seminary, I talk about this book called Stop Walking on Eggshells, Take Your Life Back When Someone You Care About Has Borderline Personality Disorder. It was written by Randy Krager and Paul T. Mason, and I kind of get into this one phrase where it says one of the points that stood out to me was this: people with BPD may unconsciously revise their version of the facts to fit their feelings about a certain situation. When it may be tempting to argue about the facts with the BPD, doing so neglects a real source of the problem. And then all of a sudden I get into, I realized that stood out to me because of my experiences when I went and talked to my friends and church people and even the court system. It was like the facts of my relationship didn't matter. What seemed to matter was that she was going to be helped and taken care of regardless of who she was and what she did. And even though I was responsible in my actions and I was the one showing all the types of responsibility and taking care of this and that, it didn't matter. She was going to be the one who was going to receive the state benefits as far as having the kids, as far as receiving child support. And even if I had my son half time, I say kids, I had one. I still have only one son with her, but it was going to be basically, even if I had my son, and my attorney at the time said this, she's like, even if you get him half time, you're still going to have to pay child support. I was like, what? How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Excuse me. But let's adjust this. Yeah, I guess that last video was only 7 minutes long, so we'll just let that play out. Come on, stroll into play. Let's see if this play. Try dimming this down and doing that. Bring this up. Come on now. Focus in. Come on. There it is. Boom. Okay. So arrange some of the lighting that works. So the gynocentric social order is molding, or what I call the GSO, is molding our women into its own image, allowing them to flourish without accountability. And this is a very true statement, and it's happening everywhere, where basically even if you're a woman who isn't BPD, you can be mistaken as a woman with BPD. And we see this with men, and I wrote this in the article, where how men are mistaken women with BPD. without BPD as having BPD. And why? Because we live in a culture where the men, where I'm sorry, where society is encouraging them to become BPD. Okay, and I just want to read something real quick from the article that I did write. It says, real quick, it says, think about it from a feminized gynocentric perspective, right? It's like most women today display BPD traits for reasons we will not get into, but most do not meet the 5 out of the 6 of the 9 required for the DSM criteria. So technically they are not BPD. However, the GSO is constantly, the gynocentric social order is constantly encouraging them to become so. Think about it from the feminized gynocentric social order perspective. Okay, and this is what I wanted to bring up here real quick is emotions prioritize facts, but at the same time act masculine and don't act traditionally feminine. Okay, follow the rules like a religion and demonize anyone who thinks otherwise. Never do anything for the exclusive pleasure of a man while requiring men to be traditional and live their lives for the exclusive pleasure of her. Chase your career and have fun, girl, which I put in quotes, which is the gynocentric social order word for fun, is a direct correlation to promiscuity, which is true. If you're tired of being married to him, take him to court for alimony and child support. Date other men, all while limiting his time with his children and taking half of what he has. Okay? And then I go off and say, geez, it looks like I'm in danger of sounding like a MGTOW, but I am not in favor of men going their own way. I believe that the answer is rooted in men's intuition and innovation skills. We have to learn to adapt. I'll write the article. Well, I said that men should not be going their own way. We need to basically figure out a way to get through this, okay? And that's one of the main points that I wanted to make in this article is, the first one is the culture is BPD, culture created BPD. The second one is we are molding women into BPD. And that second point, 2.B is we have to figure out how to get through this. We as men, we have to innovate through this. We're not going to be able to just ignore this. It's never going anywhere. And the way that we do that is what I think is I'm trying to do with this channel is help us get through that, because I've lived through that, because I'm in a marriage where I'm married to a woman who's a traditional woman, traditional nowadays in the sense that she went to college, she partied, she's now a businesswoman, and I have a successful marriage, and I try to share as to how I do with you guys, okay? So the third point is our women are incarnations of the GSO, of the gynocentric social order, which is true. Our women are incarnations, okay? And I wanted to read a real quick point. The gynocentric social order has become so powerful, so deeply rooted into our everyday lives, that it is now molding women to be created in its own image, allowing them to flourish without accountability of actions. Okay? Today, so many women are living incarnations of the gynocentric social order. They display all of the societal qualities and characteristics in human form. Okay? And those are my 3 points real quick, that the human incarnate of the gynocentric social order is your modern woman today. And while I was married to a woman who I believe was genuinely BPD, and I could share a story about today, what I dealt with her. Like, holy shit, like it was a story where she was married to this one guy. She has a child through me and a child through another guy, and then she was married to a third guy. This third guy was like really nice, and they're recently getting divorced. And this guy reached out to me and wanted to work out because he wanted me to show him some workout tips. And then when we were working out, he wanted to like see my son. He was like, hey, maybe we could work out with your son. And then yesterday, with my son's birthday, he became a teenager yesterday. he calls him up to wish him a happy birthday because of something that she actually did, that where she made him feel guilty about it, right? And he tells him, hey, your dad and I are thinking about working out with you. And it was a big deal. She ended up texting me at like 10:30 at night, 4 in the morning. And then she called me today. And I was like, how I dealt with it was, I was basically like, dude, you're making a big deal. No big deal. I let her monologue for another 15 minutes on the phone. My wife listened to like the last 2-3 minutes of it. And, it just got to the point where I was like, listen, you're making a big deal of it. It's no big deal. If you don't want your son to see him, I won't. He reached out to me because he wanted to get in shape, probably because he's single again. I don't know. So I just pointed that out. And this is, what's my point, right? She knows how to manipulate the system and manipulate people. I mean, she gave me all types of stories about how this guy was a bad guy. If I wasn't talking to him, I wouldn't know the other side of the story. And as it turns out, during my son's birthday yesterday, she had texted him and made him feel guilty for not calling my son and saying, hey, I know you want nothing to do with the kids, but it would be nice to have a phone call, right? And that's when he told my son, hey, I'm thinking about working out with you and your dad. And then she calls me up and talks about how awful he is. And it's like, it's a total mind game. I mean, I could share the text with you, and I won't, but it's a total mind game. It really is a total mind game. What are we playing back there? I have no idea. But my point is that, and I say this in the article here. Let me see if I can pull this back up. Our culture today turns women into incarnations of the gynocentric social order. The ones who are truly BPD flourish by simply irregulating their emotions, which is what happened today. Okay. My ex, she told her ex-husband something that made him feel bad for not calling the kids, and then she tried to tell me something where it was like he's so bad and he's manipulative and he's trying to find something, this and that. I mean, it's a total mind fuck. Okay, so the ones who are not look BPD because they are encouraged and incentivized to act accordingly. And this is for your average woman today. Okay, my ex-wife would be an example of a truly BPD woman. But the ones who aren't are incentivized to be, okay? Making them BPD as a result of the gynocentric social order. GSO is what they call them. And I say, no wonder why so many men have a BPD experience in their lifetime. It's like, even if they're not BPD fully, the gynocentric social order encourages them to be so. So that's where we're at 18 minutes and 36 seconds. I just wanted to put those points out there, and please do like and subscribe to this video if you found it helpful at all. It'd be very helpful for me. Let me see if I can eliminate this. I'm only sharing experiences to you, at the cost of my own skin on my own back here. I'm trying to enter into this realm as far as being genuine. Okay. And the solutions that I provided for dealing with, the human incarnate of the gynocentric social order, which is basically not just women with BPD or personality disorders in general. They are naturally a part of that, and they are flourishing. As dysfunctional as they are flourishing, but that every woman has that potential. And so here was my solution to it. Okay. Says, what is the answer? I said, be your own mental point of origin, have power over your own life, avoid women who have personality disorders, interact with as many women as you can to figure out which type best complements you. And that's what I did with, my moving forward after my experience with the BPD. Okay, and then I quote Rollo Tomassi. It says, real power is the degree to which a person has control over their own circumstances. Real power is the degree to which which we actually control the directions of our own lives. That's from the Rational Male, page 11. And then I say, and then I quote from his book, control in a healthy relationship passes back and forth as desire and need dictate for each partner. In an unhealthy relationship, you have an unbalanced manipulation of control and control by a partner, and that's what happens in a BPD relationship. Is this woman? And what I'm trying to show you is that, and trying to illustrate, is that she's controlling him, she's controlling me, she's controlling her kids in a way that's completely unhealthy. There would have been nothing wrong with me and my son hanging out with a woman, the man that she was married with for 5 years, because he didn't do anything wrong, but she wanted to make it out like it was completely wrong. And she has to control that. And women who have BPD compartmentalize their lives to every person that they are interacting with. It's like they have to control that perspective. And I don't know how they deal with it, because it's completely exhausting, but they do it. And that's a sign of somebody that you don't want to be around. You don't want to be around. So anyway, that's it for this video. Not sure what video is playing in the background here. Guys, a nice set of hair. Hold on. Whatever. We'll let it play. That's the end of the video. That's all I wanted to say. 22 minutes in. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. I promise you guys I'll be giving you guys better video quality coming up in the future. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the content. All right, peace.